Binance Coin is an absolute beast. Binance Smart Chain is taking off in a really big way and is filling some major gaps in the space. We'll be discussing the success not only of Binance, of BNB, but we'll talk about other all-time highs today, including Solana. Ethereum nearly hit a new all-time high, but not quite. PancakeSwap, that comes as no surprise. Elrond just recently hit a new all-time high. We'll also be discussing other exchange utility tokens such as OKB, as well as news about THETA, Fuse, and Chainlink. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and altcoin coverage, of course, then you know what to do. Like and subscribe to Altcoin Buzz. Happy Monday, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, and it's a beautifully green Monday morning to wake up to, certainly. Bitcoin, we talked about that dance, that battle that it was, in conflict against with 60K. At the time of this recording, we're above 60K. It may change, but the nice thing is that even, as Bitcoin kind of oscillates above, below 60K, there's that vibration. That's a good thing for the rest of the crypto space because a lot of the funds trickle down out of those trades into altcoins. As we've been seeing, we're up now at $2.144 trillion total market cap, which is great to see. We have a whole series of new all-time highs that have been hit in these last 24 hours and a few other coins, as I mentioned in that intro, such as Ethereum, very nearly breaking into new all-time high territory, but not quite. So we'll be discussing a few of these. Let's just take a quick look here in the top 100. Voyager token up 31%. Binance Coin at number 2 up 21% in these last 24 hours. Now valued at somewhere in the $90 billion range, if you can believe that. Stacks is up, Wink is up, Bitmax token is up, KuCoin token is up. They're very nearly at an all-time high from a few years ago. Flow, Monero, Huobi token. So we are seeing more and more of these exchange tokens really rise to prominence here, and a few others going down the list as well. A lot of double-digit gainers in these last 24 hours, which is always very encouraging to see. Here's a take on Binance Coin. This from a little while ago, almost a week ago or so. So Yaz trades. Binance financials are better than Coinbase, BNB. Coinbase valuation, $80 to $100 billion on NASDAQ listing. Quarterly burn, can participate in TKO Launchpad, can farm TLM for 30 days, and BSC, Binance Smart Chain ecosystem, growing at a rapid rate. I'd call it a blistering rate. Estimated valuation for me is $80 billion plus. Currently, at the time of this tweet on the 6th of April, it was $62 billion. It's higher than that right now. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But first, I want to highlight this by Joseph Young. Wow. BNB just surpassed the daily volume of Bitcoin on Binance against Tether. Pretty impressive. So just a few days ago, the value of BNB's ecosystem, the market cap of Binance Coin, was $62 billion. Now, as we can see, it's $90 billion and climbing. Unbelievable. I mean, it was only 2 days ago, I think it was, on Saturday that I joked, and I wasn't even joking, by the way, but I kind of, lightheartedly was discussing the fact that, Binance coined $500 this weekend. Why not? Let's see it happen. I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Fast forward like 48 hours, we've nearly hit $600. Like, it's unbelievable for a project of this size to be growing the way it is. In fact, look, we did hit $600. Officially, 3 hours ago, BNB's all-time high, $610.06. We're down almost 5% off of that all-time high. But now we're getting into volatile range. When you have these very sudden upswings in price, you're going to have retracement down 4.7%. Sounds rough, but not really when we're in new all-time high territory. Unbelievable work when it comes to Binance. Let's just, for poops and giggles here, let's take a look at the 30-day time frame, and let's go back just 1 month. 1 month ago, so talking about, kind of mid-March, BNB was priced at $248. It's unbelievable how quickly things are taking off, and we have even more good news here. We're on Binance.com. Taking a look at this press release here, Binance launches zero commission tradable stock tokens. So it's allowing users to trade tokenized stock tokens, actually beginning with Tesla stock. Not a bad selection. And, look, anytime you see a price rise or a price fall for that matter, but if you see a price appreciation like this, Binance coin started the year out at about $37. Like this year, a few months ago, early January, $37, and now just went up above $610. Anytime you see that kind of just parabolic price rise, of course, there are going to be a multitude of factors. The world is multivariate in nature. Problems are multivariate. When we attribute, causation to something, that has to be considered as multivariate by default. That's at least my kind of stance. But this is definitely one of the reasons. So these kinds of initiatives, being able to offer tradable stock tokens, again, with something that's already a hot commodity like Tesla, not only that, but the success of the Binance Smart Chain, it stands to reason, at least to me, and a lot of people have been saying this on Twitter, it's not an original thought, but if you're a new developer, you're a new project coming into the space, you see the success of BNB, you see the success of Binance Smart Chain, you understand that it offers low fees and virtually zero congestion versus the alternative, which would be Ethereum. I think they're going to solve their issues, but there are some issues to be sure right now that Ethereum is facing. The clear winner to me right now for a new developer is Binance and Binance's Smart Chain as a result of that. So I think a lot of eyes and a lot of attention are going to be focusing in on what CZ is doing here. And that speaks nothing of his exchange, of Binance Exchange. That platform to me is the best in the world. I use it every day. I am a fan. You can read more about the developments here on Cointelegraph.com, for example. So Binance Coin market cap, BNB's market cap passes Santander and UBX to date, 900% in terms of rally, which makes the token's $64 billion market cap. Yeah, and this is even completely outdated. So this is from 20 hours ago. It's more like 1,500% year-to-date rally right now and $90 billion market cap. So it's grown another 50% almost since the time of this publication, or at least since the time that this article was being drafted. A little bit less than 50%, maybe 45%. But that's unbelievable. So larger than Santander, the Bank of Montreal, and UBS. And not to dwell too much on Binance Coin, but I'll leave you with this last little piece. It has reached 37% of Ethereum's market cap, and Joseph Young here provides 3 reasons as to why it's soaring as much as it has. We've covered some of those reasons already, but if you'd like to check this out, I'll link to it in the description below. Let's take a look at some other projects that have reached all-time highs in a very admirable way. PancakeSwap, ticker CAKE, C-A-K-E, up 8.8% on the day, $25 even, with a market cap right now that's just below $4 billion. So scrolling down, it's achieved an all-time high. This occurred about 3 hours ago, all-time high of $27.65. Very nice indeed, as you can see here. So that occurred on, the morning of the 12th of April, which we are today. Ethereum, right now, 2156.69. It's up a little bit on the day, just narrowly missing out a new all-time high. Unfortunately, it knocked on the door, as you can see here, of 2200. But not quite. The all-time high officially for Ethereum is still from 2 days ago. That's $2,198, although we're down only 2.2% from that all-time high. So by the time you're watching this video, Ethereum may have broken into new all-time high territory. OKB, which is the exchange token of OKEX, ticker OKB. Not something that we've really talked about a whole lot. We talked about KuCoin token. Weeks ago, we talked about KuCoin's initiatives, and which led ultimately to KCS entering into new all-time high territory. The same now is true for OKB, and Huobi token is not far behind, by the way. OKB up 14.9% on the day here, $23.51. Taking a look at its all-time high, officially set about 8 hours ago. It was $24.56. So there's this trend that we're seeing. I think, Binance Coin did it in a big way, like a massive earth-shattering way, setting new all-time high after new all-time high after new all-time high. But now we've seen it with KCS. Just about, we've seen it with OKB now. I think, as I mentioned, Huobi token will soon be added to that list. Let me know what other exchange tokens you're excited about that have kind of been under the radar, that from a functional perspective are due to moon, or are due to at least to appreciate significantly in price. We've covered a lot of them, but certainly it hasn't been an exhaustive list. So if there's something that you feel that we haven't tackled as far as exchange tokens, utility tokens, Let us know about that in the comments below. And by the way, guys, if ever you're curious, there's this great tool here on Coingecko.com, price drop since all-time high. Still right now in beta mode, but it's a great way to see just how far off previous all-time highs your favorite asset may be. So for example, taking a look at Bitcoin here, all-time high is $61,711. According to Coingecko data, right now we're about 2% off of that. That all-time high, as you can see, was set, wow, nearly a month ago, 30 days ago. But then as you can see, for other projects such as BNB, its all-time high, $610, that was set only 3 hours ago. And you can go down the list here, you can get a sense of, okay, what has achieved an all-time high, what hasn't. WBTC, for example, 30 days ago. Generally speaking, if there's a very slim percentage difference between current price and previous all-time high, generally speaking, although not always, that would suggest that it's just achieved the new all-time high. For example, CETH here at $43.15 right now. It's at an all-time high 5 hours ago. Another example is FTT here. An all-time high was set 3 hours ago. And anyways, you can go down the list. This applies to a lot of different projects. Solana just hit a new all-time high as well. I want to give props to Solana. Anyways, I think it's a great tool. Nexo, another new all-time high. Hey, we're in all-time high territory right now when it comes to altcoins. That's for sure. If you haven't checked out this, it's not really a list, it's a tool, it's a function. I will link to it in the description below. I think it's fantastic, so check it out. This is a terrific meme that I happened to stumble across on Twitter today. I will not play it in its entirety, but you get the idea. Class of 2017, the old grizzled veterans of the space that have seen the highs, that have seen the lows, strong hands, right? So the tweet, I hope you weren't one of those from the class of 2020, kind of the newbies, who got weak hands and sold their Bitcoin at $30,000. Obviously, because those with strong hands gobble up the money of those with weak hands, right? Anyways, a great little meme here. I'm not playing the volume or anything because not only does that mess up the audio, but you run into copyright issues and stuff. There is audio with this particular meme. I don't know, do you call it a meme if it's a video format? I tend to. That may be wrong, but check it out. I'll link to that in the description below. A very apt kind of observation on the way things are right now. Hey, look, the noobs are selling already. Yeah. And that's when the strong hands pounce into action. THETA Network is in the news here. Interested in learning more about how to build NFTs on THETA blockchain? Catch G. Long and Wes Levitt from THETA team presenting at the Google Student Developer Club of Polytechnic University of Milan this Wednesday. If that's something that interests you, check this out. Of course, THETA getting more and more into NFTs, as we covered, I think, a couple of days ago. And I'm not crazy about those World Poker Tour NFTs, trading cards of poker players. I don't know, doesn't appeal to me, but I like the fact that THETA, number one, has struck up that partnership with WPT, World Poker Tour. That's encouraging. That's great news. Second bit of great news is the fact that THETA is getting into NFTs. I mean, to me, that's a win-win. I'm just not a big fan of the NFTs that have been advertised so far. That's all. Fuse Network is in the news. The platform continues to grow at breakneck speed. Over 300,000 wallets have now been generated on Fuse Network. For more analytics, you can check out the numbers at explore.fuse.io. Kudos to our friends over at Fuse. Chainlink, with a couple stories here, are in the news. Polkadot production hub PolkaFoundry will integrate Chainlink price feeds at its recommended Oracle solution for developers building DeFi and NFT, non-fungible token-based decentralized applications that require accurate, up-to-date, and tamper-proof price oracles. Read about that here on medium.com. Chainlink continues to be in the news. OKEX network will use the Chainlink XAU USD price feed on XDAI chain mainnet to determine the magnitude of rebases for its elastic supply cryptocurrency AUSCM. Chainlink will ensure OKEX has price data with wide market coverage and robust Oracle security. More on that here on OKEXnetwork.medium.com. OKEX using Chainlink to securely trigger rebases of its gold price-backed AUSCM token. And now for something a little bit different. I guess a week or two ago, we talked about that music school, which I think was based out of Scotland. This was maybe from a week ago or so. And they were talking about how they were essentially an industry first in that they allowed for students to pay their tuition in various cryptocurrencies. Well, it looks like the idea here is spreading. Romanian University plans to accept crypto payments for admission fees. This on Cointelegraph.com. And this, I guess, I don't speak Romanian. Apologies. I believe this is the website of the school. Universitate Lucian Blaga din Sibiu. So you can check it out. You can translate this if you wish, or if you speak Romanian or whatever. You can also just check out the article here on Cointelegraph.com. More and more universities and schools of all kinds are getting into crypto and accepting crypto payments. And by the way, the rumor is that the multi-billion-dollar endowment funds of the big American Ivy League schools, so like Stanford, Harvard especially, and a few others. I mean, like when I say big league, like big time multi-billion-dollar endowment funds, I'm talking like 20, 30, 40 billion dollars that they hoard and that they earn interest on. The rumor is that, and this is kind of ongoing now for months and months and months, it's yet to really be confirmed in a solid way that I'd be able to report. But the rumor is that behind the scenes, all of these just massive institutions are getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because they realize that, you know, it's better to divest a little bit, and they're taking on that Michael Saylor approach where they look at that $40 billion. I believe in the case of Harvard. Don't quote me because this is all just kind of off the top of my head based on this news out of Romania. But the idea is, I believe they're at about $40 billion. The idea is that, look, we have all this like this pile of cash that's sitting in the vaults, and it's that melting ice cubes mentality where the price of capital, you know, is such that, oh my goodness, I'm losing 10, 15, maybe 20% in terms of my cost of capital by leaving that in cash. And so there's almost a desperation, but that is the rumor now that's circulating, that's moving its way through the grapevine, that these mega institutions and their endowment funds are increasingly being converted to Bitcoin. It's not to say that Harvard is accepting tuition payments in crypto or anything like that, but behind the scenes, I believe that to be true. I just haven't been able to confirm it, that they're hoarding and investing in cryptocurrency and possibly some altcoins as well. So they may be bullish on Bitcoin. The truth will be revealed soon enough. Somebody that is confirmed bullish on Bitcoin, Robert Kiyosaki. You may know him as the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's betting that Bitcoin is going to be worth $1.2 million within 5 years. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has predicted that the price of Bitcoin will increase to $1.2 million within 5 years. So by 2026, I guess, Kiyosaki revealed that he bought Bitcoin at $9,000. Nice. Adding that he may buy the cryptocurrency again, quote, today or tomorrow, just because I'm more bullish on it. You can check out what he said here. I mean, it's very like macroeconomically founded thinking. This guy seems to be fiscally conservative, as I am, and he's outspoken against the policies right now that, at least in our opinions, are ruining the economy, the Canadian economy, the American economy, the global economy to a certain extent. But he's not a fan of mass printing. Even before C-19, you know what I'm talking about. Even before kind of the days of lockdowns and quarantine. If you ask me, and I'm sure if you ask Robert, I can't speak for him, but in my opinion, it's been irresponsible fiscal monetary policy going back to 2008, if not earlier, but at least 2008, because that was really kind of when you had fiscal and monetary policy decisions that opened the floodgates of quantitative easing. And ever since then, it seems to me that the solution to every problem has been just throw money at it. Just throw this many billions of dollars and this many trillions of stimulus package, and it's all going to go away. It's all going to go. Just throw more and more money at it. And yet, what does that really solve at an underlying level? And then that's a question, in my opinion, of fiscal incompetence at the level of governments and central banks. But then there's also just an aspect of, like the way that we're structured socially that I disagree with. Like most people, not most people that I know, but most people in society today are so over leveraged and so just drowning in debt. And I get that if, you have expensive tuition fees, maybe you took on a student debt and you're responsibly paying that off. And all right, I can get behind that. Look, I took on $80,000 of student debt and I made sure I have to pay that within like a year. That was my limit. And I struggled with that. It took a year and a half in the end, but I got it done. I don't like debt. I don't like being burdened or saddled with debt. If you're struggling with debt, my heart goes out to you, but I hope that you're not struggling with debt because, you're spending on frivolous things that you don't need. I think, I was reading in one of Robert's, I forget if it was one of his books or his articles, but I forget if it was even him. But, the idea of spending today is just something that I can't relate to anymore. I'd rather accumulate wealth, sit on it, earn interest on it, stake it, and just be financially free and liberated. And yet everybody, again, not necessarily in my orbit, but as a society, American society, I'm speaking as a Canadian, it's pretty much the same thing. But, Western society, it just seems to be the norm that, I have X number of dollars in my pocket. Okay, but I want to go out and buy either this pair of pants or those shoes or this car or this house, and I'm going to spend 1.5x because I can. And I can't relate to that. So anyways, going back to this quote, I'm getting way off track here, but going back to this quote, maybe you guys can help me in the comments below. Who do I attribute this quote to? But the idea of spending today in a nutshell. People spend money that they don't have to buy things that they don't need in order to impress people they don't like. And to me, that sums it up. I couldn't care less. If I stopped working today, I love doing this kind of work, and I have some other projects outside of Altcoin Buzz that I'm involved with. But if I stopped working today, I could probably stop working for, if not the rest of my life, for a couple of decades. But I enjoy working. It's just a question of how you manage your money. And if you really dive into Robert Kiyosaki's stuff, I think we share the same mindset, the same mentality. He's not a fan of personal debt. He's not a fan of irresponsible government spending. And you should check out the article in full here. This is news.bitcoin.com. Hey, by the way, you may recognize the ticker here. Shout out to news.bitcoin.com. Anyways, not to throw anybody under the bus. I understand that there are situations, medical situations or otherwise, where you do have to go into debt. But when it's used frivolously as a tool to artificially enrich yourself, I can't get behind that. You do not have my support. Moving along, though, Michael Saylor here of MicroStrategy. The board of directors of MicroStrategy is now paid in Bitcoin, putting his money where his mouth is. Our leading evangelist here in the space. Very impressive. You guys can check that out here on Coindesk.com. MicroStrategy says some of its board directors to be paid in Bitcoin. Very impressive. It's one thing to talk the talk, but this, in my opinion, is Michael Saylor walking the walk, making his passion, his vision, his enthusiasm, sharing that with members of his board. Although that's just the members of the board, right? Those are high-level executives, even kind of up above the high-level executives. So hopefully this is something that can be extended soon into those that would opt in for other lower level, employees of the company. I'd like to see that, but this is a good start. Awesome. Michael Saylor also here commenting on this CNBC interview. Let's play it here. Just make sure the volume is off. Simple arithmetic implies that Coinbase is gaining 1 million users and $10 billion in digital assets each week. Wow, I didn't know it was that high. This direct listing is going to be a wake-up call for institutional investors, financial advisors, and investment banks worldwide. Bitcoin rises. Squawk Box with this quote. "This is real innovation in financial services," said Amy Boot on Coinbase direct listing. "Institutions, even in the last 3 to 4 months, have really come in, and corporates have come in and said, hey, I need to have crypto as part of my treasury planning." Yeah. Look, we've been screaming it from the rooftops for years. It's a mistake. It's now at the point where it's a significant financial and strategy risk not to incorporate crypto into your treasury planning. Documenting Bitcoin here, talking about Goldman Sachs. They're certainly one of the banks that have had to adjust as of late. And check this out. Goldman Sachs has to put Bitcoin at the top of the report every week after calling it, quote, not an asset class over a year ago. I always have mixed feelings about this kind of thing because on the one hand, I love the fact that Goldman Sachs is championing the cause of Bitcoin. But on the other hand, it's like, well, we still have to remind them of some of their previous quotes and some of their previous comments and their contributions to a multi-year bear cycle that was led by FUD that they were responsible for in many instances. But check this out. Total return, Bitcoin at 100, risk-adjusted returns leading the pack in terms of every other category. That's nice to see out of Goldman Sachs. Track record and their history aside, I'll give them credit on this one. So that's good. There's more ETF news. By the way, we talked about ETFs yesterday and how it's inevitable. It looks like based on Canadian numbers, the first American ETF will pretty easily coast $27 billion in its first month. Well, Galaxy, add them to the list in terms of companies that have just filed for a Bitcoin ETF. And like I said, it's not the sort of thing that will never happen. It's inevitable, and now I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later because those tables have kind of turned. The SEC can drag its feet all it wants on this, but now you do have a groundswell of a lot of institutions, and very reputable ones for the most part, that are going to really become, I think, more aggressive in terms of their demands. Like, no, we want this. And there's no reason for them not to be acquiesced in this regard. So an ETF is coming. Let's see, who's the first across the finish line, but an ETF is coming. Bitcoin Archive, there is a flood of money coming into Bitcoin. The Wall Street Journal is talking about that ETF. So ETFs could rock the Bitcoin world. I don't know whether that was meant to be a positive or a negative headline, but as always, the meme game is very strong on crypto Twitter. You can check this out. I think, what is this? Edge of Tomorrow? Is that the movie? I don't know. No, I don't think so. This is something else. I'm kind of blanking here. You guys let me know in the comments below what it is this meme is based on, which movie. 1917, maybe? I haven't seen that one, so maybe that's why I'm not getting it. But let me know in the comments below. You guys will figure it out with your collective genius, I'm sure. Jim Cramer, I don't know if he's serious here, getting into Bitcoin. Pay me in Bitcoin, pulling a Russell Okung, following in the footsteps of those MicroStrategy board members, and now the NBA team, the Sacramento Kings. Not only the team players, but the entire staff, the entire organization. This is going to be almost, I think, a universal request. Pay me in Bitcoin. You're going to see it more and more and more and more and more. Bitcoin effectively is, as Plan B puts it, number go up technology. And even the Simpsons are, kind of taking positive jabs at Bitcoin. I guess you could call it a positive jab, but singing Bitcoin's praises. They say that Bitcoin is designed to pump forever. The writers must be on Bitcoin Twitter. And if you didn't catch the very subtle reference, you can see that Bitcoin in the stock ticker or whatever on the show here is just set to infinite. It's just infinitely rising. Another pretty good USA minus 1/4. That's funny. And GME up 1 trillion. So that's a good joke, I have to say. That's the kind of joke that if you blink, you can miss. I didn't see this episode, but I imagine that the ticker's moving pretty quickly anyway. So Bitcoin Infinite, USA minus 25%, and GME, that's GameStop stock, of course, up 1 trillion. Oh, crypto Twitter's a funny thing, and the memes are only getting stronger and stronger and stronger. As always, guys, there is so much happening in the space. If you want to have any chance of keeping up, then my recommendation is to follow us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into our website. It is altcoinbuzz.io. That's where you're going to find all the latest. Guys, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications if you enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you choose to invest. Stay out of debt, I implore you, if you can. That's, I think, something that I'm happy to say is financial advice from just about every financial advisor in the world. But stay safe, everybody. Have a great start to your week. As always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.